Good afternoon. It is it's September 1st, 2023. It's 12:12, so we got 48 minutes until market closes. But here's what we're looking at for the day. I'll get the daily chart open right now. The daily chart, you can see it looks like the day's going to end up looking like a doji. But a lot can happen in 48 minutes. You know, we could rocket all the way up. I mean, we had basically an overshoot of the range, so we might have a overshoot to the high side. But anyway, not a whole lot of trades today. We had this news item at 5:30. So in this channel, it stayed in the channel, and then we bounced right here. And maybe a slight overshoot, maybe not, but you could argue for that right here too. But I've seen that before, like you get double overshoot before a break. So maybe that's what happened here. Technically, this is a second entry long, so maybe you consider that one, even though you're going right into the EMA. But then we just go sideways, and you get a double test right here. That's also a second entry short, but with the bias being up, I'm not crazy about that. This one, even though it breaks higher, it's right at that level of support or resistance, and there's a little more room back to the midline here, but I would just be concerned about that midline. So it does look like there's enough space though. And we come back to that price level yet again, and it's a first entry, second entry, this time with a bearish signal bar and plenty of room back to the EMA. So I like that. I like that one. You can see a lot of people like that. And we get a sell-off and a move down to a new low before it reverses. Perhaps you take the maybe you take this failure. But I don't think so. I mean, this, you'd have to argue this is a double bottom, and this is pretty congested. I just think it's better not to. Then we get a double test. It looks like a double bottom here, first entry, second entry short. But I'm guessing this is a news item too. Yeah, it's right at 7 a.m. and it's 28 bars. So, you know, very risky. But I wouldn't blame anybody for going on the engulfing bar, because you got plenty of room back to the EMA and it's right at this level of resistance. So maybe you take that. We start going higher. You know, but this looks like a channel too, so this is probably just a move to a new high after the break. Going a little sideways right here, but then it starts to make these lower lows. So you get a failure here. First entry, failed second entry long. But I don't really feel confident in what's happening at that moment. So anyway, you get, maybe this is the confirmation of the channel. If that's not it, then this second entry off the channel line is. So go ahead and take that. And I would try and, you know, take profits down here, and it goes even further. So you also get a failed second entry long right there, but look at all that support. I think with all the sideways that's happening, I think you're better off sitting out of that, but I'll mark it. We sell off, then we go sideways, and then we find resistance up here, and you get a first entry, second entry short on a double test off that trend line. That's a great trade. And yeah, maybe you take profits right here at the overnight support, but we go a little further, go sideways, and then the breakout fails. And I think that's just the first entry right there. But that's something you might want to risk too, because we could just rock it up to the midline, rock it up to the opening price, overnight resistance. So there's reasons to like that one. Looks like it just made a measured leg up. Not here, but it looks like that. Yeah, so that's what happened there. And we get a break, and then a strong move to a new high. Before we just started going sideways. And this was, I think this is the level of support because you can see that midline, but I'm sure there's plenty of people who are looking at this, and that brings the midline to the overnight resistance, so that makes sense too. I don't see anything. This one's pretty tempting, but it's a doji itself. And with this sideways stuff and this strong move up, I was thinking maybe we'd keep going higher, so I didn't want to take that. And you're at the lows of the day, so. But we haven't made a new low from this channel, so just a bit confusing what's happening right now, just back and forth stuff. And you can see people like this second entry short on this like micro double top. But for me, that's in the middle of my range, so I'm not going to mark that. We break out to the low side, and you know, you got a break of this channel and a move to a new low, so maybe you take that bullish bar. But that's where we're at right now. 40 minutes left in market, the market for today. And this is how I saw it. So I hope everyone had a great day. I'll be back on Tuesday.